Welcome back to another episode of Glasswood Storyworks. What episode it is? Who knows?
I'm gonna put that in this one.
Do not.
Welcome back to another episode of Within the Glasswood Forest. Again, not gonna say what episode it is.
Because we don't know.
Probably 10, I think. But I'm no longer going to count because I keep messing it up every time. So today's podcast, we're gonna talk about connections. Not who you know, how you know them, but family, friends, community, building connections. And we're going to dive a little deep into this one because I think that I find myself sometimes we'll be on social media and someone will comment, like we might post a Glasswood post and it's like, hey, what's a book that really inspired you or really provoked thought in a way that just made you look at life differently moving forward. And it's really interesting to see the type of comments people come back with and the books that they'll list out, because a lot of times what ends up happening, you'll be like, oh man, I forgot about that book. Yeah. And then it'll just bring back a flurry of emotions and memories that you had while you were reading that book. There's a lot of people, for what it's worth, we read a lot of George Orwell growing up in school. That was part of our literature classes. And we sat down and watched Lord of the Flies the other day, the new Netflix rendition, which so it was, yes, poor little piggy. All that to say, that book has stuck with me since like middle school.
I remember you talking about that even
stuck
when we
with me.
Teenagers.
Yes, political regimes. Like if there's any way for you to be able to understand what it means to see power rise and fall, that the good have to suffer for the bad's choices. Yes. That book really does something to you, and it's about children. Yeah. It's not technically, there's a lot of symbolism going on, but it's written about children. And when we read it in school, like I never thought about things the same ever again. That said, there's plenty of authors out there, even if you are writing, a little bit more advanced like that, but you're trying to reach that audience.
Well, there's, our groups, then there's the young, adults. I feel like that's probably, it has to be somewhere between 15
floats
to
in
18.
Between. We were reading it even younger than that. It's a touchy subject for a lot of people. It's a touchy subject for me because I have a hard time building connection. And as much as I think I'm an extrovert, I still feel that I'm very introverted in a lot of ways. But no, I think that a lot of people also think that. They think that like, oh, I'm very extroverted, but it's when it comes to their family. It's
easy to be that way with family, though.
It is. Certain family, it is easy to be that way. But not all family. They say not all things are created equal. Not all family is created equal, unfortunately. And there's, what's the definition of family for you? Because I think if there's a significant relationship there, it's really easy to get to know someone and talk to them and open up to them. Whereas there's certain family, I have certain family that is a little bit more distant and a little bit more distant. And when we are around them, like if we go visit, I feel like I'm amongst strangers in a weird way, and I feel a little bit more reserved. And it's kind of like going to a Christmas party.
I feel like that is a part of it's almost like feeling out the mood.
Right.
It's like you read in the room, and it's like, okay, so I think we're all feeling awkward here. We're not trying to, but say, how's the weather? And I'm just like, you have a booker. I used to think what's so important about being in church, it's not necessarily that but the community of everyone being gathered together, like-minded.
Yeah, well, the Bible says iron sharpens iron.
It's powerful. Mm-hmm. There's power in numbers. There's strength in numbers, There
is. And I think that is something that I'm having to constantly remind myself is how powerful community is. Yes. Because family, friends, and community, I look at those as the foundation of having a grounded connection to reality, so to speak. Because without it, if you lose the sense of community and you start to be very isolated, it's easy to get disconnected from everything and lose interest in a lot of things.
Yes, we've done that for years. But if you look at history, and they did with the Neanderthals, but they were very isolated, and they thought that was a lot to do with their downfall.
Right.
Yeah, the other species were more
collaborative.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they were also more sneaky. They were able to lie.
Going back to what you were saying about presence in the church, you played the piano, I played the bass guitar. We were both in the band. You sing like an angel. You do. For everybody that doesn't know that, Sarah has pipes. I'm telling you, she can sing really, really well.
He's nice.
But that said, there's something very special about having that community. And I almost think it's sometimes, the way I look at it, it's almost more important than sitting down, because you can listen to church on the radio. Mm-hmm. You can listen to church on your television.
We do.
You can get it on your phone. Yeah, we do it virtual now. But having that sense of community when you show up and you see someone who shares, and it's not just about sharing success. I think there's something that's even more deep about people that share grief. Yes.
Heartache, pain, just everyday struggles. People struggle. We all have our own battles. Some people's battles might be alcohol. Some people's battles might be jealousy. You don't know.
Yeah.
But having people to lean on, to
especially
not judge
if they've
you,
been through
to
the same
support
thing.
You, and even if they've not been, just to, hey, I'm praying for you. I'm here. Good vibes to you.
Yeah. No, it's extremely important.
It's very important. The saying of it takes a village. That's like with children.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up where all my family was down the same road.
Yeah, I know so many people that are like
uncles,
that.
Here, there, and like literally, I'd be down the road, and then my mom or my Aunt Pam would be, Sarah, hollering at me, to come home. And that's so, like, we don't have that. We have that now to more of a sense, because our neighbors where we live now, they're wonderful people.
Yeah, that's people. Where I was saying earlier.
That community there, that's powerful. I don't want to leave.
They're not family, but they're family.
They're family, yes.
And and when we move from here in the future, it's going to hurt because we have built a connection with these people.
I love them.
I didn't even know it was possible. It was almost like we transported and it was 1990.
Yeah.
Where it's like, in what world do people socialize this way?
Hey, I'm going to walk. She's old enough to stay with the little kids because they're not little babies anymore. But I'm like, hey, if you have an emergency, go to the neighbor's house. And I tell her specifically which ones in order if I know they might be home. It's nice to have that when we haven't had that for so long.
And I think about the times when you lose it. So growing up, we had family reunions on both sides of my family. Yeah. And so on my dad's side, we would have the Almaguer family reunion, and it would be in Orange, and I forgot the street. I just remember it was where the bear plant was. We would go down this old road, and there would be this, this convention center that they would rent out, and everyone would go there for the family reunions. There was barbecue and tacos. We had everything. It was a huge get together with all of our family on his side.
It sounds fun, even though I'd be chewing on my fingernails.
Yeah, you would be very stressed out because you're like, how many people are going to be there? Why do I have to go? And I would be like, because Sarah, it's family. We have to go. And you'd be like,
I went to one, the quinceañera.
When? I don't even remember.
Recall. It was a long time ago. I still get stressed thinking about it. That's how bad it was. I was dying inside.
So here's the thing. Those are stressful situations but then you look back and you're like, I'm really glad that I did do it. Even if you think back.
I don't care.
Even if you look back and you think like that was very stressful, I probably won't do it again. I still think like I'm glad that I persevered, I overcame my stress, and I did it.
Haven't seen in a long time. That's what we have, social media connections, but it's still not that.
And that's
that in-person connection.
The most disconnected connection ever.
It is.
Because that's what I was about to say was we grew up on both sides of my family. We had these family reunions that we would have, and we would have. In Starks, Louisiana, we'd have our family reunions over there as well. And all of our family would get together. And we did that every single year that I could remember as a child. And then one day, we just stopped having them.
You know why? And I hate to say this because the old people that were the glue that held everything together.
They're the ones that did it. They really did.
Was like, we tried, but we also lived so far away, so it makes it a little bit more challenging to do that. But we do try at least once, twice a year. And I say that's ridiculous to say that's a lot. But
no, I get it though, because it was, so my grandmother on my mom's side of the family.
She was the glue?
She was the glue for that family reunion. And when she passed away, we stopped having them. And that was very sad because, like I said, we grew up, and honestly, I didn't know a quarter of the people there, but there was something about being around that many people that that share a connection, and it gives you a sense of purpose. It gives you a sense of status, and you say, hey, this is family. This is what it means to have a community. And it's very similar to the church world. That's literally what a lot of churches become for people, because a lot of people they might move to a new city. Like our neighbors, they got a job offer and they're moving to North Carolina, and they're going to be in a city that they don't have any friends, they don't have any family. But if that's
us here when we moved in this area.
Right. But say they move in and they say, hey, there's a church down the road. Let's go, visit once. Yeah. All of a sudden, they have a community. Yeah. Because that's what those places are doing. They're taking people in, and they're just saying, hey, we're going to graft you into the family. They welcome you in with open arms, hopefully. Hopefully. But that said, there's something very special about being able to maintain that connection.
Yes.
And I do think that, there's certain people that I'm friends with on Facebook that I was very close to at one time. They see our kids growing older. We see them they bought a new house, they got a new car, they put a pool in the backyard, but we're not connected anymore. And it's still and there's something almost psychologically messed up about the idea that you can know so much about somebody but not have that connection anymore.
I understand that too, but people change, times change. Where you live is a big one. For us, that's most of the changes, that we moved away from everybody.
It is. So I recently had lunch with a friend that I hadn't seen face to face in years, right? Him and his wife, they've had 2 children, right? Whenever the last time I seen him, he didn't have any children, but they have 2 children now. They've already bought a new house, and I know all this stuff about.
Speaking of that, we were probably only at 1 kid at the time.
We were. Yes, we only had 1 kid at the time. And guess what? He knew that I had several more children.
Yeah.
But when
we had 2.
2 more. But when we sat down and had lunch together this couple weeks ago, it was like when he walked up and hands go out for a handshake, it's like, man, I haven't seen you in forever. So we embrace, we give a big hug. There was something like in your brain, you're telling yourself like, but we're already caught up. I already know what you've been up to. You know what I've been up to if you've been, seeing myself. But none of that matters because it's not real.
Yeah.
None of that connection is really there's no substance to it.
But there's no, I don't even know.
No, it's whenever you're back in front of them, you're like, oh, this is what it means to really catch up with somebody, to say, hey, how have you been doing?
Everybody had their own part. In that community.
Well, it's like a business.
But
it's a machine. It's one machine with multiple parts, and everybody plays a very vital part.
Yes.
And a lot of times people forget because they feel like, oh, what I do is not that important. Maybe I'm not welcome or not needed. It's like, no, but you are
in church.
Yes,
wherever you're playing
you
instruments.
are vital.
Certain people being in church.
Yes.
Made me feel so much more comfortable singing because I don't like being in front of people.
So I remember specifically, and it's been years now, but whenever I would grab the mic and have to start talking, depending on who was in the crowd. And
I would focus on a certain person.
Like when your mom was sitting in the crowd, it was so easy and so comfortable because it felt like it was this. It felt like I was just having a conversation with her where she was going to let me scream for an hour while we were preaching. And
she's going to give you undivided attention.
But there was something very special about having certain people in the crowd. Yeah. And you might think to yourself like, oh, I'm just another number. But somebody might be looking at you like, oh, thank goodness that person is here.
It's just the comfort of seeing that face.
Yes.
And I remember several times for me, it was Mom.
Yeah, I remember her.
Mom there would just it would just put comfort in me.
Yeah.
And if I'd go in there in that church to sing today, I would feel so very strange not having her there.
It would be.
It's just,
It would be because there's, again, it's not the building. It's
the people.
It's not the environment. But there is something about the people, right? There is an energy that floats through the air.
Well, that's why Jesus was he did go to temple.
Yeah.
Every Saturday or Sabbath day, they went to temple. That's what he was doing. He was about his Father's business.
That's true.
Working in the kingdom.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And I don't discount that, no matter what it is.
Them.
Whether it's in the church world or in the business or just in your family life, we have to maintain that connection.
That's something me and you we're very bad about. I say we're bad about it. I think it's just we went so long without trying to maintain connection. It's just like we got lazy, and now we have to, when we move from this place, we're going to have to fight to keep that connection with this. We have wonderful people here, and I don't want to lose this connection.
Well, a lot of people want a call to action. I would say a call to action right now, if you're watching this, and you've made it this far into it, go buy a bottle of wine or a box of snacks, get some cookies, go to your neighbor's house, and just make a connection.
Yeah.
It's literally that easy, but it's also the hardest thing to do in life. There is something so uncomfortable about going to someone else's house, and you might see them every day.
You know what I like to do? I like to bake cookies or send cinnamon rolls.
Yes.
I haven't done it in a while, but I've been meaning to bake some cinnamon rolls for the neighbors.
So when you watch like an older movie and it's one of those movies where, it starts off and they're in the car, they're driving to their new home, and they're unboxing, and then the day they get in, they hear on the door, somebody's knocking, and then it's a box of snacks. Like, here's a box of cookies. Nice to meet you.
Do that.
We're the Sandersons across the street.
I mean, that's
Then it turns into a murder mystery. But no, all that to say, but there is something like
that's very nice though. But you don't even have to bring anything. Like Devin, we were still moving. He's just like, I'm Devin. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
it's like, if y'all need anything, that's like.
I love him to death.
I was so. You know how I am, like this new person, like danger.
Red flags.
Or danger Will Robertson.
Right.
But yeah, I was just so closed off. I know I look so stuck. Oh my goodness.
No.
But that was just that is just the nicest person, to be like that. And then, his wife, they're just so kind.
They are.
And I'm just scared of everything.
But you have to be able to do that, and you need to challenge yourself. Get out of your comfort zone.
Introduce yourself.
Because it's easy to isolate. There's no dividends in it.
No.
There's no reward to being isolated.
No.
You think like, oh, I'm going to pour all of my energy into writing my book, or whether it's in whatever you do in life, whatever your career is. Some people might be like, oh, I'm just dedicated on my school or on my education or on my career. I know this firsthand.
Yes.
You have to have a limit, right? And you also, it comes down to time.
I've been with learning.
It does. I've been so busy in the past where I literally didn't even have the time to make the connection. But in a situation where you do, in the situation where it's like, okay, I know I have a lot going on, but my afternoons, there's a window here. We should take advantage of that window.
Even whenever there's not, make the time.
Yes.
As much as it's uncomfortable.
You have to make the connection. Go out and talk to your neighbors.
Even if it's not family, just
start
put
there.
yourself, we're going to have to do this.
Yes.
When we
Practice
move,
what you
because
preach.
I promise you, we probably won't end up with the same.
I'm already getting stressed out thinking about it.
Me too.
Because I know it's going to happen. We're going to be like, they don't look like they're very welcoming.
Well, it's not about them looking.
But they might be the
we don't look welcoming either. I look like I'm about to just be so rude.
I know. I don't know what it is about. So personally, I don't know what it is about my face, but when we're in public, doesn't matter where we are.
That doesn't happen to me. It's like avoid, avoid, avoid.
But I'm the one person that everybody walks up to ask for directions, to ask for recommendations. So either I look very happy or I look like I know what tastes very good. I don't know which one it is, but it always happens to me. I could be in a group of people and they will bypass people, weave through them, and come to me.
You know what it is? It's the whole of, you don't seem lost when you're out.
Maybe I don't. I feel like I have my mindset on where I'm going.
Like you have a heading.
Yeah.
Like, the pirates, like, we have a heading. I don't. I'm just following you along the way.
Yeah,
and I'm just like,
we don't know where we're going.
If somebody comes up to me, I'm like, abort.
Yeah, they're like, she doesn't know where she's going either.
So that's not a good one to ask.
No, and
I've had that happen a couple of times, and I'm thinking, I have no idea. I got lost in the town I grew up in.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
So, all that to say, supposedly I'm the one person that, it always happens. They always ask me for directions. But then, like our neighbors, they're driving by in their car and they're like, man, when you're out exercising, you look like you're just so mad at the world.
Sometimes I look at you and I'm just like, are you mad?
I know. Everybody asks me that. I get lost in thought. Even if I'm at the office, sometimes like Nick will walk in and be like, hey, is everything okay?
Who annoyed you?
Yeah, and I'm just like a mad hatter typing away on my computer. I'm like, no, I promise everything's good. I'm just, like super focused. I'm hyper focused on this task. And what's so funny is I'm like super hyper focused, but I've got like the Harry Potter soundtrack playing in the background. So like there's just classical music. I even have like a diffuser.
Jurassic Park going.
I got diffusers in the office with Christmas tree scents, and it's just it's fumigating everything. Everything smells pleasant. The music is so welcoming, and then I'm just at the computer mad, like just typing away. Yeah, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. And then I'm like, oh man, I gotta like take a step back and breathe a little bit. I don't realize how.
Smile.
Yeah.
Smile.
But yeah, it happens to me all the time.
I just think I look scared and lost. I think that's my whole problem.
Well, I just think that it's easy. It's easy to isolate. We've done it for a long time. And I don't know if it just comes with time or if it comes with age, which they kind of are basically correlated.
It's both though.
But eventually you realize, you're like, okay, we are limited on how much time we have here. And there's something like the moments whenever, like the other day, we spent a couple of afternoons with some friends. When we have those gatherings, it's so rewarding. And you feel so good after. And you're like, man, I really wish we would do this more often. But I think that's a good thing. It's like having really good food. You can't indulge every day.
No.
There's a negative consequence, right? You can hang out with people every day, but then you might start falling behind on the things that are also important to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
The things that are important to keep your business thriving. So it's just a balance. And I think it's just important to make sure that you know that, hey, this is a weight on the scale that has to be a part of it.
Yeah.
You can't sacrifice family, friends, community as something that like, okay, I don't need this. Find time to make it. And I'm saying this as somebody with firsthand experience on like how to professionally isolate away from the world. And it hurts me because I know I'm good at it. And it's not just something that's like.
But what do you lose? That's the thing.
You do.
It's like,
you lose a lot.
And you know this. You've lost
Yes, I've lost a lot.
A great friend.
Yes.
Because of that. And it's just, that's sad. You know, it's just
But
really sad.
In the moment, you're absorbed by what's important.
You were like that though, which I think we all are, but you get to a point where it's like, and I think I am the same way. It's like I will get a pit bull lock on something.
Yes, you're
and
locked
I'm just
in.
like, I don't like it.
So a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people don't know this, but you know, and this is just part of, you know, Glasswood is about being encouraging, right?
Yeah.
Like we want this business to be able to reach people that says, hey, that inspires me to be better. So people know, like, it's not all peaches and cream. This was years and years ago when I used to work offshore in the Gulf of Mexico. I was traveling to South America. There was all kinds of stuff going on. And then one day I get a phone call and they're like, hey, you guys, we're laying everyone off essentially from this many years of experience and down. And I was in that group.
Yeah.
And I went from thinking I was, you know, a set career, you know, income is steady. And then one day it was just gone.
Well, that's where you learn the hard lesson of nothing is forever.
And it's true.
Nothing is forever.
But what it did, it also flipped another switch and it became like a primordial instinct to just survive.
Yeah.
To make sure that every decision that I made would be the right decision for my family to be protected. Because that sense, it wasn't just a small sense of vulnerability. It was much, much deeper than that. It really affected me.
When you have a family.
You do. Like, we had a new child. We just had our first child.
She
hadn't even had her first birthday yet.
No,
I did everything I could to make sure that we would be protected, that we would be okay. Because when we were young, we were just 20s, very young.
We were younger than 25.
And I learned a valuable lesson very quickly, but I didn't learn everything necessary because I let certain things go in that moment. Because what it did was I thought like, okay, I hardened up to say, I gotta sink my teeth in and really get down and do whatever it takes to where we can be comfortable in life. And that's what I've been fighting to do every single day. But in the meantime,
not even comfortable at the time, just enough to get by.
Right, it was right.
We were just getting by.
But giving up family connection became one of the biggest sacrifices of that time because it was. But
the situation of having to move 3 hours away from any family, that's a big part of that. It's not like you just chose it. I mean, maybe you didn't have to go there because we could have done things so differently, but it's not like you just chose it. Like, I'm gonna just shut everybody off. It was we have to go here because this is where a job is. And
Right.
like, I mean, nobody can fault anybody for that because
No, you can't.
it's what's necessary to make a family.
Yeah,
I'm going here because I need to make a living.
absolutely.
This is where I have to be. And thank God we weren't free of concern. We learned that, I feel like that's what keeps people going. Even in older retirement homes, some of those people, they don't have children, or some of them do, and their children almost care less. It's like, I'm paying the bills, they have a place to live, they're fine. Whenever you get depressed and lonely, we're humans. Like, we need contact, we need physical contact. That's important,
There is something that is beyond physical. It's more spiritual.
Yeah.
About just having human contact. So I was telling this to somebody the other day that we had a group setting, and it was a bunch of people, and I don't know if the person was a germaphobe or if they truly had something like on their hands.
I knew germaphobes.
Well, there's something, all that to say, but listen.
Cassie with that Germex.
Everybody shakes hands like, hey, nice to meet you. And you reach out to shake their hand and they're like, ooh. And
you stink.
They're
Sorry.
Right. So first you're offended, but on another level, there's something psychologically messed up in my head because I'm like, now it's like I don't really know you. Right. But I guess what I'm trying to say,
you have to see them talk.
I do have to watch people talk. Matter of fact, Jared
clean the wax out.
Gave me my dad's joke cup years ago.
Dad jokes.
So Jared gave me this cup. Appreciate you if you're listening. When we used to be in the field, we'd wear our glasses, and he would always he would be mid conversation, like we're having a conversation like this right now. And he's like, why are you staring at my mouth? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, why do you do that? He's like, he would get so like off put by the idea that whenever he was speaking to me, I would watch him speak. And I didn't even notice I was doing it. This wasn't something I just do because I want to. I'm not trying to be weird. But a lot of times, if I don't watch somebody speak, like if I don't see them talking and I'm not reading their lips.
I was going to say, that's the thing.
Read lips.
Can you read lips?
I cannot read lips. But there's something about the way my brain works. Like I will just watch them talk. I'm like, I'm just listening to you. I'm so sorry. And I would get offended. Like, I'm sorry that I'm engaged in this conversation.
Wrong? I have termites in my smile.
Right. He'd be like, why aren't you looking me in my eyes? Why do you keep looking at my teeth? What's wrong with my mouth? And I'm like,
maybe you're trying to get rid of I can look you in the eyes because I'm comfortable with you.
There is something.
But other people, I'm constantly looking all over.
I will tell you this. If you can meet someone who you do not know and they can stare you in the eyes for longer than like 10 seconds without looking away at anything else and then coming back, that person has some serious psychological problems.
I'm going to tell you what it is. It's called asserting dominance.
Maybe. I think they're psycho.
I can do it, but then I feel like it's like a dog. It's like, are we going to start like roofing at each other?
If anybody's listening out there to this part of it, comment below. Let us know what you think about this one. Do you know anybody who has that awkward trait where they lock onto your eyes and they just won't stop looking you in the eyes? It's the most awkward thing.
I do.
I try not to smile because we could be having a serious conversation and I'm like, they won't stop looking me in the eye. I'm like, why are you looking at me so hard? I'm like, look at anything. Look at anything. Because now I almost can't even hear the words that are coming out of your mouth because all I can hear is my thoughts. Like, why are they staring at me so hard? And granted, I get it. We're having a conversation, but give me the courtesy and look at something. Break up for a second. That's all I need. Some people, it's almost like, have you ever?
I feel like it's asserting dominance because I can tell you right now, when I have to correct Jude, my baby Jude, whenever I tell something, I saw a therapist do a thing saying you need to, like, certain kids, I don't know, they've never been diagnosed with ADHD, but considering you're the daddy.
Thanks.
They say you touch, look them in the eye, keep it short and sweet.
But if you know, like, if even across the street, if my neighbor walks over here and we start having a conversation, I'd be like, hey man,
do it just
because. Like, did you have a stroke? Is everything all right? Like, you haven't blinked in 30 seconds? Like, something's wrong. I will give you the benefit of the doubt.
Maybe they're trying to make the connection.
I think there's a lot of people that do this, and this is more of a guy thing. So like guys out there, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. there's a nice way to shake someone's hand, and it could be a firm handshake that's like, I respect you, you respect me. But then there's another level. The two ways that it happens. They give you the benefit of the doubt and let you get a good grip, but they squeeze the living daylights out of your hand. Or you have someone else who is even more.
That's asserting dominance.
That's what I'm saying. But the worst type of person, this is the worst type of person, is a guy that will walk up and will shake your hand, and they know they're doing it. But listen, before you can lock, like like I'm gonna shake your hand, they will grab your fingers. They know they are doing it. They grab just the tips and they give you a strong one. So now when you try to shake my hand, you can't grip. You feel so clammy. You feel less than, and I've literally
feel less than. You're taller than everybody else, just about.
Irrelevant. Height is not even a thing. When another person, especially two guys, grab each other and they shake hands, if they grab your fingers
the weirdest. Like you say, I'm weird, but that's a weird thing.
I'm a Larry David kind of person. I will admit that. But this is far more than that. This is primordial. This really is. This is instinctual. And that's what they're doing. I've literally had people do it and see, like you tried to get me, you just did it. So maybe women can do it. But all that to say,
think about stupid stuff like that.
But guys do, because now I started doing something different.
Beat somebody up.
You can throw them off their game, and what you'd be like, whoa, that was an awesome handshake. Let's do it again, because you can't just shake my tips of my fingers like that, and then you reshake their hand, because
you see,
just to throw them off their game a little bit.
Like, you see, whenever I've had only one man ever shake my hand and give me it's like, good thing I'm pretty sturdy.
Right.
Anyways, but most of the time when men shake my hand, it's
they do the little.
They don't even squeeze like you're squeezing. It's like a.
Yeah, like they're afraid
like you're gonna break my fingers.
Made of brittle.
Not even.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the picture books that we're working on, Fady Sadie, right? I think it's perfect for the theme of today's subjects, because literally the whole premise of the book is someone who has a lack of connection so much that they literally feel invisible to the world. And so Fady Sadie, it's going to be one of our children's picture books that hopefully, maybe it'll probably be next year before we actually get to it. It's in the queue, and you're in the Houston area. We're looking for local artists who share a vision that we share, right? Because we can't do it all. I do a lot of the artwork myself, but there's only so many hours in the day, and so many of those hours can be dedicated to.
You're wearing too many hats as it is.
We all are. Reach out to us. Send us some examples of what you're working on, so that we can get an idea of because we have a creative vision that will be different from book to book to book. Because not every book that we write, not every book that every artist that's going to come to Glasswood will have the same artistic style. So we want a variety, but I'm telling you, there's thousands of artists in our area. We ran into a really nice artist the other day when we went to go watch Mortal Kombat 2, which was pretty good. We ran into a local artist over there. His name was Chris Williamson, was it?
I forgot his name.
I think it was Chris.
I think it was
definitely Chris. So we ran into Chris. I followed him on Instagram. After that, we bought some of his art. He signed it for us right there, and he was working on all of this beautiful artwork. And he had a plethora of styles. So he did everything from like Marvel, DC, comic book styles like Spawn. He had Stephen King iterations. He was doing everything. He was doing a little bit of everything.
He even had a little bit of like Dragon Ball Z characters.
He had Dragon Ball Z, Ninja Turtles. He did all of it. He did a little bit of everything. Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles.
You're really gonna eat me alive for that. I'm gonna leave this in.
I say everything wrong all the time.
I saw the look on your face when you're like, did he just say Ninja Turtles? Yes. So that said,
not Indian Turtles.
Right. I say things weird sometimes, and
Me too. That's the beautiful thing about being human.
Yes. I get to mess up, and it's okay. That said, we connected with Chris. Fantastic artist. But there's so many artists out there who maybe you never thought about illustrating a children's picture book. You don't have to write the words. We have the words. We just want to be able to have someone who can take what we've written, and we're very open. Not everyone is, but we're very open to the idea of, hey, here's the words. You create the artistic vision of what these words represent.
See what you think that this would.
maybe unless there's like a specific idea in my head for a particular part, like, hey, I was really wanting, the character to be doing something along the lines of this because it's going to match this part of the book. But outside of that, honestly, take it and run with it. But you might be that person who's out there who's saying like, oh, I never really considered that, but I've got a really good skill.
Overlooked because they're not graduated from school yet, or not enough experience. We are more than willing to give chances.
Yes. If you're the legal age and you can work,
for sure,
reach out to Glasswood Storyworks, because we have so many stories that we need to be able to put illustrations to, and we're not going to go down the road of just clicking the easy button. And everyone knows what that means. We're not looking for, hey, this was AI generated 100%. We didn't have to put any effort into this. I'm not against AI. I think AI assistance is really good. I like using AI in a sense that, okay, I had this idea for like whenever I'm drawing some of my illustrations for Ernest, I'll use AI to help me craft a scene. Like here's the story we wrote. Here's the page. I was thinking of having the characters do this, and I'll just use it. It's more like a sounding board. It's like you and I having a conversation, and it might come back and say, "Oh, that's a really good idea, but maybe you could have you ever considered having this in the story as part of the illustration?"
Yeah.
And it'd be like, "Oh, that's actually a really good idea," and then I will take that idea and then I will draw it that way. So I think that there's, with the right setup, AI is something that people should be able to lean into. I think more artists should.
Yes.
But
some people though, they need the chance. That's the problem. A lot of people, it's really hard for kids graduating school. They're fresh out of school. It's like, you need this much experience. How in the world are these young people, young adults, going to get experience if nobody gives them a chance?
Well, we want to give people the chance.
We will give chances.
One of the best artists that I will ever remember is Cordero.
Oh yeah.
He was drawing so good in like the 5th grade.
He doesn't even do it anymore.
And he doesn't do it anymore. But there's artists out there. Our daughter, she draws fantastic. Once she's old enough to be able to be, when we can start compensating her
like
legally.
Family and business do not mix.
No, they don't. I've already had to like pre-fire her like 5 times. So that said,
she doesn't even work for us.
Right. But all that to say, there's so many artists out there. Reach out to Glasswood Storyworks. We don't just need manuscripts. We're not looking for just manuscripts for authors. If you have really good talents and you want to showcase them, we probably have a book that might fit that same theme. So reach out to us. You go to our glasswoodstoryworks.com. You can send us an email. We're definitely interested to be able to communicate with these people, because I think there's a huge market, especially in the Houston area. It is ridiculous the amount of talent that is around here. It is the melting pot of everything.
At that Houston art show that we went to. That was
fantastic.
Wonderful art.
So the beautiful thing about that,
so diverse.
We went for books and ended up falling in love with so many art pieces that were there. Back to Sadie.
Yeah.
Right? This book is special to me because the idea came, we were just sitting on the couch, and
the idea came from you making fun of me.
Yeah, like most ideas that come, they're really good. I was just picking at you, but I had this idea.
I said something, and you take it and write a book about it.
Right. Well, so the premise is she's invisible to the world. She thinks she's invisible to the world, that no one hears her, because somebody could tell me something 1,000,000 times, and then I'm like, huh? When did you tell me that? And then, the top blows off. You don't have to look at me like that. It's kind of threatening. That said, so Sadie, that's what this book's gonna be about. It's gonna be about a little girl who's invisible to the world. So Sadie is gonna be, she names herself Sadie, she calls herself Sadie. But so Sadie she's invisible to the world until she bumps into a girl that is bright with colors. She is super extravagant. She's out of this world with energy, and she's just like, what do you mean you're invisible? And she's just like ripping her out of her comfort zone, showing her that life is not so doom and gloom. And the premise of the book, and this is, so if you're a Houston author out there, we definitely are interested in someone who can do this, work with us on this. So the book's gonna start off kind of bluish and dull, and it's going to be a rainy days. And as the book progresses, it's going to get brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter, and as she's going to become less transparent. So as they begin to build this friendship, this life and this energy of this girl that recognizes that, like, hey, you're human, We have a
It's
friendship.
like they say in certain languages that it's like I see you.
Right.
Except that it's not just I see you. It's like I love you.
Right.
You know.
So, and that's exactly what it
here
is.
with you.
By the end of the book, it's going to be a beautiful story about someone who realizes that, like, no, the world didn't think I was invisible. I made myself.
I shut
invisible.
myself out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all of that is correlated with today's topic.
Yeah.
But Fady Sadie is very special to me because it started off as a joke. And then I started writing this book and I'm like, oh my goodness, like this could be a really...
Literally my life, I told you, my childhood, like best friends. That's exactly.
But how many children out there and adults live their life thinking they're invisible and that no one recognizes them, but a lot of it is self-inflicted. It's they put themselves in a box.
I'm being attacked here.
I'm not attacking
the self-inflict that you're correlating to me. You need to cut this out. Is that you idiots don't listen?
We listen.
Oh no, you don't.
I'm not cutting this out.
I got to say things 500 times, literally exaggerating. But I say something over and over and over. Nobody hears me.
I'm sorry. Were you saying something?
Nobody hears me until my top blows.
I'm joking.
You see though?
No.
And then it's like, you're crazy. Of course I'm crazy because I've just been telling you all this stuff and you don't hear nothing I say.
Well, that's one thing. But then there's another group of people that literally just self-isolate from the world.
That's also true. And I do that.
And I don't want,
so
I want to make sure it's, I feel like we have a duty, we have a responsibility to be able to, because we've lived this life.
Yeah.
And there's so many people out there that are, why do you have to live the same life and then find out that same hardship over such a long span of time? If you listen to this podcast, wake up. There's a beautiful world out there. There's a lot of people out there that want to build a community with you. There's a lot of people out there that you can build family with.
That's the thing too. Even if you think it's because you're awkward and weird, everybody's awkward. Everybody's
awkward.
Weird. But that's the beautiful part. You're going to find the people that are your people. They're going to accept you for every ounce of awkward and weirdness you are. They're going to accept that and they're going to love you for it.
They will. And
hopefully.
You're eating those words because here's the thing.
Why you say that? I mean
because every time we hang out with people, that's exactly what you don't remember that. You're like, oh, they're not going to like me. Then we leave and they're like, they were so nice. And then they're telling me like,
because people aren't mean. Like they're not going to say, I just don't like you.
When it's over, you always look back and you're like, you know what? I'm so glad we did that.
I still feel weird because
know.
I'm weird.
You definitely are.
You see what I'm saying?
But that's a good thing. That's why I love you. And that's why we work well together, because you're so awkward. And I like making people feel awkward, if that makes any sense. Like there's just something about.
Is that what you like? Is that why you? Because I didn't chase you.
It's a perfect balance.
I didn't chase you.
It's a perfect balance. If you didn't think it was weird, I would feel very dumb about half the jokes I say. I'd be like, dang, that did not end well.
The problem with you is that I tend to think everything's funny. And you like to make people laugh. And I feel as if I'm so goofy that I just think everything you say is hilarious.
I'm going to let my pride take over. And I'm going to tell people that she doesn't think everything's funny. She thinks everything I say is funny because I'm actually funny. Now, so here's the thing. Because if you thought everything was funny, then I would start questioning. I'd be like, man, am I even humorous at all? Like, do I have to say anything that's funny?
Okay, I think you may be right.
Yes, I'm right. I know I'm right.
Are.
I'm always right. And even whenever I'm wrong, I'm definitely right.
So you never apologize because you were always right.
Why would I apologize if I'm right?
I'm telling you right now.
I will apologize for being right. Like, I know it's hard to accept the truth.
You're giving me a headache.
Why is that vein pulsing? Like, is everything okay? A lot of people say, like, very similar to what we were talking about in the beginning of this with the church world.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the needle in their eye. Worry about the beam sticking out of yours.
Yes,
because you've got some serious problems.
We all do.
Worry about your home life first.
Yeah.
A lot of people neglect that, and they want to fix everybody else before they fix themselves. All that to say,
they do that.
We need to be the example to our children, 100%. That's what Glasswood is. We want to be the example to our, that's why we're doing this, because I want to be an example to my children. Am I the best dad? No, I definitely know that I'm not.
I will say this too. I see so many people say things like, it's how they were raised, That stresses me to no end because, my goodness, that is not true. And I know in some forms it is. In some places it's absolutely how they were raised. But a lot of times you see people and children go and do things that their parents disagree with,
right,
or, whatever. I have family that were not raised to be the way they are, and they are the way that they are.
Yeah, nature versus
because,
nurture.
Yeah,
that's
or just
the lifelong battle.
Who are you as a person?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that could be, things could be blurred. The lines could be blurred of where they were taught certain things. But, I know for sure that I was raised to try to have morals.
Right.
To be honest.
Which I think increases the moral responsibility to even do it even better.
But we try.
Even more.
We try with our children to set that foundation, here to be the example to them. We're not the best. We're not perfect, but we try.
I'm not just trying to do it because I very much am. I am worried about who they will become. But I also want them just to feel like during the now that they felt that they had a good life. Yeah, not just about...
what I look at? I look at even if they, God only knows, even if they turn out in some way that I disagree with, I just want them to know that they can come home. Mm-hmm. That I may not agree with everything you do, but you are mine.
Yeah.
You have a safe place here with me. I'm your mother.
We're going to watch that movie with Steve Carell. I think it's called Baby Boy.
No, My Beautiful Boy.
My Beautiful Boy. Yes, that movie tore me in half.
I never watched it. So
well, we're going to watch it together. And it is, my goodness, that movie is so sad.
I've seen that with my mom, though. But I've seen her take people that were passed off. My mom took those people in her house. She fed them. My mom even took people in,
right,
just to live with us. But
that's the example
I fall so short of that example. I say with her, she had only me, and she was single, so I was with her all the time. And then I guess maybe it's me making excuses, but I think I have to protect my children, so I have to be very mindful of who I let in my home. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
I think about
I understand.
that.
So, a lot of people do.
Because in the end of the day, my children, they will take priority to anything.
Well, that's why I think it's important for us to be the example. Yeah. And it's little things that we do. And we talk about building a connection, whether that's family, friends, the community, but being connected in your home. You can be disconnected in home. I could be home every day. There's many times where you come in, you're like, hey, listen, you've been grinding. Maybe you should consider, and you say it so respectful because I know that you understand that the weight on both of our shoulders to build this life, it weighs heavy. So and I respect the way you do it because sometimes I feel like when it's the other way around, I would be like, yo, get away from the computer. All you did was stare at it for 12 hours and the kids miss you. And you come in saying it's so soft, but realistically, you come in and you're like, listen, I know you've been grinding, you've been working really hard. That is probably the most important battle to fight. Yeah. Is making sure that even though we are home, we can't be disconnected with our brains everywhere else. If I stare at our phones too much.
Mm-hmm. I have to do the same thing with the kids. It's like, even whenever I'm trying to read books, they come, they're doing this, or when I'm trying to study, they're like, Mommy, watch me do this, watch me do that. And I'm just like, yeah, but I'm not paying attention to them. And then I feel so bad because they're only little for a very, very short time.
I thought about it the other day and it hit me hard. I felt really, really bad. I thought about it all day. And it was that night before I was reading some emails on my phone, trying to catch up.
If it's anything to do in the past few weeks, you were working heavily.
Well, Rachel walks up and she's trying to show me some artwork that she did. And it wasn't her drawing artwork. So I really make sure that I pay attention to that. Mm-hmm. But it was something she did on her phone. And she pulls out her phone and she's just showing it to me. And I just glanced at it for a second and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I went back to my phone and she's just staring there. And
you only looked at it for a second? I do that.
Yeah, so she walks off and I just stayed wrapped up in my phone. That cut me. So, not there in the moment because I just was so focused. Think about it. It was later that night and then all the next day until I got home the next day. I felt so guilty because I was like, man, I cannot believe that I let something that doesn't matter take priority over something that's valuable and important.
You could have paused it for 30 seconds.
It's not just saying you're great, but letting her realize that I value her enough.
I've been trying to give her feedback, show her that I'm listening, I'm paying attention with the conversation because I want her to think that, oh, my mom just was always passing me off. I hate that because I know when people are doing that to me.
Yeah.
Even though I don't say anything, I usually Like if I feel that, I will just.
I don't want her to feel that.
Myself.
I don't want her to feel like I don't value.
Your parents. It's like that's the worst. It's
right.
like I wasn't.
But I did hear something the other day, and it makes a lot of sense. Someone was saying like, it's the dopamine. I don't want to control the rush of dopamine that controls her body by saying, I'm proud of you.
I've been practicing that
right,
with the kids that I tried aren't you proud of yourself?
Yes.
You know?
So listen, people.
Do you think you're pretty?
My son's 3 years old, and this is how this works. I don't even say, like if he walks up and he's like, look at what I did. I'm like, you should be proud of yourself. He says, I'm proud of me. He's going to control his sense of fulfillment.
That's it.
Not waiting on daddy to say, you did it, boy.
In his own.
And granted, this isn't to say that I don't congratulate them, that I'm not proud of them, because I am. And I still say I'm proud of you. But I try to reword it.
Lean on having to.
Yes.
You're smart. You're this. You're that.
I try to reword this and flip it around to where my words mean I am proud of you, but what you're feeling inside is your own self-accomplishment, the own self-pride, because that thing gets important.
Yeah, your own self-worth.
Yes, you have to lean on yourself.
At the end of the day, I get communities. Great, it's wonderful. It's pivotal to everything. But we cannot benefit a community or our people in any way if we are not happy with ourselves. Happiness has to come from here. You know, feeling good about yourself. It doesn't mean you have to be the most beautiful person in the world or the most fit. No, you have to be happy with yourself. That starts here. Have the right mindset. And I'm learning that after a long time.
There's a lot of people that live out there that are listening to this right now. They're not happy with themselves. And they're not happy with themselves because of a lot of exterior things, when a lot of it is just getting out of your comfort zone.
With weight gain, that's the one that I can go to because it's part of who I am. It's who I've been. I've lived it. Mm-hmm. You know, I used to think, oh, if I lose this weight, I will be happy. And then I seen someone saying, it doesn't change. They lost so much weight.
You got to fix the mind.
It does not change.
You
have to be happy with yourself, and that can come with what you're doing. I feel so much better about myself. I ran for an hour today. It's not hard running, it's a jog, but I did that. I tried. I put myself, I focus on that. I'm learning to do things that I thought I couldn't do. The thing is with me is that I know I can do it. A lot of times when I say I can't do it, it's because I simply don't want to do it. It's not because I don't think that, that's the thing. I don't think that I can't do it. Because I know I can, I just don't want to.
Right. One of the things that we haven't been doing as much as we should. And
to the kids.
Is reading to the
other
kids.
Night I was going to, I'm not gonna lie. But it was it's not an excuse. I was so tired. I was nodding off, waiting on you to stop working. I was just like blinking in and out.
I've been working late.
I know, and I was like, you know what? He's busy. I need to go read to these kids, and I'm just sitting there nodding off on my rocker.
Number one, there's so many benefits to them being able to hear the words, right? Hearing words, they get to hear new words that they don't hear by just from passing of conversation, but just there's something there's a connection that you build when you read to your children.
Yeah.
You have to be able to read some books. If you go to GlasswoodStoryworks.com, you can buy books from us. Go to the library.
Yes, I still remember my mom reading to me.
I don't want to have our kids grow so fast that when they leave home, I regret all the times that we didn't read to them. Because I already regret many of the days that have passed.
I hate to say this, and I'm not trying to be that doom and gloom, Debbie Downer person. You will have regrets. I think no matter what, you always will look back and think, I could have did this, especially if if something happens or like they don't want to talk to you. It's like, oh, I should have did this. I should have did that. And yeah, we can all do better. But at the end of the day, it's the fact that you have to try. And I hope that they remember us making effort.
Yes.
I want them to remember, even though God knows Rachel won't understand it now, she doesn't understand it at all.
She's 12 and she hates us for everything.
Yeah.
But also loves us for everything.
Yes. She's texting mommy good night whenever we were going for the night. She wasn't with us.
Yes.
I was like, oh yeah, now you love me. But But yeah, I want them to look back and I hope that they, with an adult mindset, that they can think, you know, mom might have been crazy, but she tried, you know, because that's how I feel about my mom. My mom was, oh my goodness, I love her to death, but she was high strung. Now I'm looking at it from an adult mindset. It's like, I totally understand where she was coming from. I get it now. And I told her already, I've said it several times, I'm so sorry for all the stuff I've done, but it's like now that I have a child that talks back to me, that can answer, I'm just thinking, my goodness, I'm so sorry, Mama.
Right.
I'm so sorry.
Right.
Every time.
Yeah. That said, people, challenge yourself. Read to your children. Get a book, sit down, and you don't have to read a chapter a night. You don't have to read a whole picture book every night because, you know, some of them are pretty long and you maybe you're pressed for time.
Their attention span
but you have to build habits. Yeah, so our kids, we can't keep them but maybe about 5 pages out of a picture book, and they're just like, they're running around or
they're fighting.
Or they start fighting each other. That happens almost every time.
Every time.
But even in those moments, our kids, they pick up habits very quickly. So the moment we start doing it, it also helps because then they're like, hey, it's time for you to read to us.
Yeah, they
like
get
right
excited.
Now,
they're so excited.
We do this weird thing, like we haven't been reading to them as much as we should, but I do this weird thing where I pick them up and I swing them in circles and I'll launch them into space and
you tell them they're going to the moon?
Yeah, I tell them they're going to the moon. So I have to pick them up and I do a little 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 launch off and I spin them in circles. They literally, it's so funny because they lay down on the floor as fast as they can with their feet up in the air so I can pick them up by their hands and their feet so I can spin them in circles. And they're just both ready to go every night. Yeah. They've been doing
They run, they get in place.
And I look forward to it because it just makes me feel so good that they love it. But more than that, which that is fun, being able to read to our children at night is something so special because it is a sense of community because we all sit around in a circle.
And it is creating beautiful memories, but you know, I think it also helps with their learning.
That's my point.
Because it's not just like, oh, this is fun family time. It's beneficial to young kids especially.
They pick up words and they pick up concepts. And I like doing things that are interactive with them. So like a lot of times they'll be reading their books and as we're reading a book, I'll stop and be like, who's wearing something red? And then Charlie or Jude will be like, she's got a red hat on. And I'm like, okay, so you're paying attention. And I'll ask them like, do you see an animal in this one? And they'll point to a bird. And it's just something that's really special about that. Tonight, we got a little bit of stuff we got to do. We had a busy day today. We're going to wrap this up and then we're going to transition. We got a new weight set we're going to put together, right? So we can both become Hulk, She-Hulk. So we're going to be working on that for the next few years.
You know, She-Hulk, sir.
All that to say, I'm going to try my best tonight to read to the children because we have to practice what we preach. So if I can do it, you can do it because I'm a very busy person. We're all, and I'm not saying like, oh, I'm way more busy than most people, but I do know that my time is very limited and I want to be able to make time to read to my kids because I know there's more value in it than just building like, there's so much value in it. It's ridiculous. Like it's rewarding in more than just from a perspective of love. Being able to see my kids light up and be able to learn concepts, that's so fulfilling for me and fulfilling for them. So that you're paying dividends in so many different ways. So if I can do it tonight, whoever's listening to this, whenever you get to this part of it, make time, read to your children. Take a little bit of time out of your schedule and just read a couple of pages. Start very slow. And that's all it is. And then every day, just do a little bit more. Just try a little bit more. And until eventually...
you just go with your time.
Yes.
If you have, sometimes you may have more time to read. Other times you may have
Be flexible with it. Be flexible with it. Right? And that's something I have to learn. I have to learn to be flexible with everything.
See, for me, I'm very rigid with...
You are.
With times. And I think if I can't do this, it's none.
Well, the problem is that I lived my whole life thinking like, oh, I can go with the flow. And for the most part, I do. But when it comes to things like scheduling, I schedule all of it. All of the things on the schedule can be very fluid on how they operate, but they have to be scheduled. So like I can do however I'm going to get from point A to Z. So whenever you do things, you have to do them a very specific way every single time. Now,
not necessarily, because that's the thing. You think that you're right.
Oh, I am.
When I in fact am right.
Oh no,
I am
right.
correct, because there's a okay, so there's more than one way to do things. There's one way to do this, but that doesn't mean it's the right way.
There's the wrong way,
so
and there's my way.
Something
That's
that Joe
the two
Bastiani
ways.
told a cook in there. They put garlic powder on their stuff, and she's like, "What's wrong with?" They said, "What's wrong with that?" And he goes, "Nothing." He said, "But there is there's a right way to do things." And he meant to put those herbs inside the oil and baste it on the steak. I'm just saying.
Okay, I get your point.
Because I am correct.
Well, even though I'm still right, this is you have to do everything in a very particular way. Whereas I'm
getting better with it though.
I'm like, okay, I know for sure that during this window I have to be doing this. How I do it is irrelevant in my brain. I'm up and down and all around as long as I'm getting it done.
But yeah. you people will do something backwards, and I'm just like,
but you're just
why?
The opposite. You don't have to have it done in a particular, it doesn't have to be scheduled, but when it's time to do the task. It has to be
scheduled, because I like to know. It's like, hey.
Well, that's true. You probably are that way.
I am, but I tell you, why do you think I fuss? Because we're waking up late. It's like, hey, I want to get up. I want to get coffee. I want to get my exercise done on the weekends. I could be correct because I am correct.
No, you're wrong. I'm right.
Then why do you listen?
So here's the thing.
Why do you listen?
She's saying this, and I know she's throwing stones at me. We go all week getting up early. And then when Saturday rolls around, we got to get up earlier.
Well, don't make me run so long.
I'm just like, but it's we can finally just take, let's sleep another hour.
So let me tell you something.
But no, you want to get up even earlier.
Later is a Sunday thing. That's a Sunday. That's not a Saturday. That's a Sunday. Get it right.
Yeah. So for us, sleeping late is still getting up very early.
Sleeping late is 7, 8 o'clock.
Yes. If we're in bed, it's 7 o'clock.
I will get mad if I'm sleeping at 8 o'clock. If it's
we slept the day away. If you follow Jocko online, so he's military, he's a business leader. He does all these inspirational things. This guy gets up every morning, and he will make you feel so incompetent when it comes to a sleep schedule, because he takes a picture of his phone, of his watch every morning. It could be 20 seconds off, but 4:30 in the morning, he's up running on the beach. He's getting his grind in every single morning, day on day. He gets it done. And some people are sleeping until 10 o'clock. Make an effort, build the connection, circling back.
Yeah.
I didn't forget. Go knock on your neighbor's door. Unless they have a no trespassing sign, don't do that.
Yes.
So if you live in the country,
don't
go knock on their door.
Bullets.
But if you live in the suburbs, and if you live in a cul-de-sac, go knock on your neighbor's door and say hello.
Especially if you're new to the community, because that's the thing. We're going to have to do that. When we move here, we could. There may be answered prayers if we pray hard enough. We might get people like the neighbors here. We are going to have to probably be those ones to be like, hi, we're new to the neighborhood. We just want to introduce ourselves. If you need anything, we're right here,
It's like the Olympic, when they pass that torch off, they light the next torch and the flame keeps going. So our flame's lit. We have to, when we move on, we have to light the next torch.
I can't.
So that's all it is.
I'll be like, this is what I do. I'm going to be like, hi.
No, we're going to do it. We're going to reach out. We're going to build connections, and we're going to continue to be the people that...
I'm going to try.
You have to, though, because if you don't, it's so easy to recede again.
I go with you, and then I just stay behind. And I let you do all the talking.
And then that's when I'm just going to be like, have you met Sarah? And I'm just going to stand out of the way.
Yeah, but then I might be gone. Like Sadie.
I put you on FaceTime the other day, and all of a sudden you snuck in the kitchen and started baking cookies. This is a deep conversation for me. And I know we kind of joked around a lot, but for the most part, this is something that's very serious for me, because it's one of those things in life where if you lose the sense of purpose, of community, life can be very gloomy. Life can be very dark. But the opposite of it is so bright, and it's so fulfilling, and it's so rewarding. I don't want us to ever have to go back to it, not willingly.
Even if you don't have a good experience, so this is something I've learned. I think that you have to just get back up again. Just try again. If you know what, if they didn't like you,
with kindness.
So what? Just go find somebody that will like you.
Kill them with kindness.
Yes.
Kill them with kindness. That's what I gotta do.
Well, I'll probably see that's the other thing. I might look like a psycho because I'm always trying to
It's like, wow, she gave me all 32 teeth.
big old teeth. But yeah, just keep trying.
Yes. If you have a book out there and you're sitting on it and you're like, maybe I was just going to self-publish. Maybe you already self-published it and you've sold 2 copies and it's just been sitting on Amazon. Reach out to Glasswood Storyworks. Submit your manuscript. We'll review it. And like I said, if it fits the vision of what we're trying to do, what we're trying to build here, because we want to build a legacy that when we hand this thing off, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to live forever. But when we hand this thing off, I want it to be something that say, hey, here's a catalog of all of the inspirational books that Glasswood Storyworks has been able to produce. And that's something that we're going to leave behind, right? It's the legacy that goes to the next generation and to the next generation. Just like a lot of these books, like George Orwell, that book's been around for decades. And it's a timeless piece that will continue to be read over and over again. Yeah. But if you're just one person, and I'm not discounting being a self-published author, because it's a very dedicated route. There's extremely successful.
Well, there's people that do have the time, not necessarily the time. They make the time.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people don't realize that just because you say you publish with one of the top 5, that doesn't mean that the work's over, that you hit it big. This isn't the same as it used to be, 20 years ago in the author industry. You still have to push. You still have to pour your energy, your heart into it.
Well, there's the part too of AI gets in the way a lot. A lot of that, you look at some of those stories and people are probably giving AI prompts and they're coming out with this quick little shot out story and there's no heart in it. You can feel that and it's just so...
It's disconnected from the heart.
It's monotone. And
it really is, because monotone's probably the best word, because that is literally what floods the market right now. Granted, there's 300 million people, and I don't know the percentage of them that are authors. That said, it's probably less than 1%. But that said, the amount of people who are actually, pouring their actual time, energy, their souls into a book, that's still a significant number of people that are taking the self-published route. And there's nothing wrong with it. I think I commend people for doing it.
No, I support it.
We're building this thing from the ground up.
What I look at is rope. You see the strands? There's how many little strands in one piece. Then you connect all those pieces that are connected by how many strands. That's what makes it strong. It's all bound together.
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly what we're trying to say. There's some people, lightning does strike, and they can publish their first book, and all of a sudden sales go through the roof. It connects with an audience. But then there's a lot of people, and it doesn't mean that their writing isn't good. It doesn't mean
that they're... It just means that they're overlooked because they're a dime a dozen. Yes. That's the problem. They're overlooked. They don't have a company that's pushing their work.
And it's not just that. It goes even deeper. How many people need help with their writing, right? Yes. So Glasswood, we're not just going to help put your book out there. That's not what we do. Far more than that. We want to help you edit your book, because a lot of people need professional editing support. So that comes down to actually editing the literature, like the words in the book, but also the formatting of the book, making sure that it all will fit, because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes when it comes time to actually print. And if you're doing like a children's picture books, which we love, it becomes even more complex of a problem when it comes down to resolution, when it comes down to image placement, because where's the cut line going to be? A lot of people don't think about that until the very end.
Until you showed me a lot with the books we were working with.
There's a lot that has to go into it. So all of that to say, reach out to Glasswood Storyworks, right? We can help you. That's what we're here for. We want to build a business of an entire team of people, authors that all share the same passion that we do. Because guess what? We're writing books too. Sarah and I are both doing the same thing. And when we put a Glasswood story book out there and we say, hey, this is published by Glasswood Storyworks, and someone reads that book, they will say, okay, that's a fantastic book. What else did Glasswood make? And so there's brand awareness there that will literally continue to drive and help people that are otherwise just going to be swallowed up, because, how many people are named Mike that are going to publish a book tomorrow? But there's only one Glasswood Storyworks today. But if you do want to take the self-published route, you can get swallowed up pretty quickly because you can say, hey, I put my heart, my soul, put all my energy into making this book. And then
I didn't understand that until you showed me the stuff on Amazon.
Right.
The new books. And then
over 1,000 every day get published.
Every single day, and it pushed those new ones from the day previous
straight to the bottom of the list.
To the bottom of the list.
Right. And if you're just an individual, it takes a lot of energy to keep up with that, to keep up with that type of drive. So Glasswood Storyworks, that's what we're here for. We're here to help. We want to be able to find authors. So if there's authors out there who have written books and you're interested in joining, a more family-oriented publishing house, send us your manuscript. You can go to our website, glasswoodstoryworks.com. We have a little link at the top of the page for authors to be able to check out. They can submit their manuscripts. And if it's something that aligns with our mission, which is to plant wonder, that's all we're trying to do. We just want to inspire kids, and we want to build a business that literally takes, goes back to the root of what it means to write something that's inspiring, that sticks with you for generations and generations.
Well, yeah, it needs heart and soul.
It does.
There. You could feel that, like in the AI music.
Yeah, that's a big one.
You don't feel the heart and soul in like older songs, especially like religious songs, like the old hymns that were written in tribulations, trials. People were going through things, and as their form of worship, they put that in there.
Yeah, they put there's energy in there. There's power
there's soul
there.
To those songs. That's why they're so special, even today, even though they're,
Well, how many people have written stories that have that exact same amount of emotion, dedication, heart, and soul?
I remember one I read. I was in 4th grade. Such a great book that it still sits with me today. It was about a dog and a little boy. It was an amazing book. I don't remember the title or anything. It was just a wonderful story.
When just hearing that, it's very inspirational to hear that, because that's just further proof that certain things, maybe you don't remember the author's name, maybe you don't remember the title, but that story stuck with you in a way, right? You built a connection with that, and it's going to kind of tie into what we're talking about today with connections between family and community, because that's the community part that you're tying into right there. You're tied into a network of people that have also read that book, that have shared that same type of inspiration that you received from it. And now you're part of a community that you don't even know about. I think that's probably a good spot to stop this episode. All right. Thank you for listening. Until the next time.